Welcome to Singapore. I am at the Royal Botanical Gardens here in Singapore. This is absolutely gorgeous. I gotta switch this around. Some of these flowers are just phenomenal, these little clusters. I guess here, everywhere, every little bush, every little place I go, there's something unique and different to see. Going to try and do this kind of travelogue style. I mean, I know that I'm not one for normally being on film or on the camera, but I wanted to prove I was actually in Singapore, and I gotta kind of watch because there are people walking much faster than I am here. The gardens are huge. I'm about half a kilometer in at this point, and I'm just coming around the edge of the Swan Lake. We're going to be entering the orchid garden. There's also a ginger garden. There's bonsai, a whole collection of bamboos, and I'm going to really enjoy this trip. So I'm going to cut this off here and take some more video and some more stills, and then I'll see you in the orchid garden. So the gardens have all these paths that go down into the trees that if you don't explore down there, you don't see some real beautiful stuff. I found some blooms, or what I would call blooms, but they may be pods of some sort, hanging from underneath vines and underneath of the ferns. So without going into and understanding and exploring some of these little paths, you'd never find the wonder of Singapore. So we can see right through the trees here. Also these large open spaces where the people of Singapore come and spend their time, whether it's badminton, playing tag. This is a animal-free and bicycle-free zone, which is a nice thing, so it's walking only. People enjoying their time. Okay, maybe it's not such a dog-free zone at least. So we're hiking through, looking at a number of different things. This is there's an African sausage tree right beside me. It's a heritage tree that grows these pods that drop down from the top. There's actually a small couple of them starting to form, so I'm going to turn the camera around in a minute here and get a picture of some of them. But there are a number of heritage trees, trees that were brought as Singapore was explored. So I'm just having a seat for a moment here. You can see the gazebo behind me. It appears I've stumbled into a cosplay photography session. So we have some cosplayers over here preparing for some photo shoots. It's just kind of funny that that would happen here. I will end up sending this. This is for my friends Amanda and Jared. Yeah, that's right. It's real. It happens all the time here in Southeast Asia. They, you never know when you're going to walk up on sailor suits and all sorts of different cosplay. The area I'm in now is in more center of the whole gardens. We're going to head for the orchids shortly, but there's some really interesting bed formations here. They say it's the Vanda Miss Yokun. It looks like an iris. It's very tall, but it's a very small iris. The national flower of Singapore. It is beautiful with those orange centers and the purple leaves. Let's see if we can find out a little bit about it. This is an orchid. The national flower of Singapore. This orchid, a hybrid between Vanda teres and Vanda hookeriana, is hardy and free-flowering, described by the first director of the Singapore Botanic Gardens, Mr. H.N. Ridley, in 1893. This was the first orchid hybrid to be described from Singapore. So this is named after an Agnes Joachim, in whose garden the hybrid originated. It was selected to be the national flower of Singapore in 1981. So this is a huge thing that we're actually in this beautiful patch. And we're looking at orchids. It's an orchid. Look how beautiful that orchid is. So let's come around to, here's a map of the gardens. So I entered here at the Tangwin Gate. I have meandered my way up through the marsh, around the Swan Pond, that's a bridge. Then I walked down through the dell. Oops, let's look at the dell. I've now walked up towards here. There's the gazebo that's just behind me now. And yeah, they're setting up with reflectors and everything. This is going to be a big photo shoot. So I've seen the sundial garden and the sun garden, but I did not see the bonsai. So the bonsai are back up here. So I'm on the ring road and it says I'm right here right now. So I'm going to go back up. I'm going to go around the to find the bonsai. So I found the bonsai garden and I've been taking some pictures. And I'm going to take some video now to accompany it. The garden is absolutely phenomenal. Alright, I am at the National Orchid Gardens. It's just after 10:30 in the morning and it's getting quite warm. You can see I'm getting quite pink. I have my hat on, protect me. It's quite warm, so it's over 84 degrees right now. The humidity is about 80%. It's getting pretty close. Shirts showing some water coming through. The gardens were a pay-for activity, $5 Singapore, which is about $2.50, maybe $3 US. So for the idea that you're paying, a couple of bucks, less than a cup of coffee, to come and see some beautiful orchids in their natural settings with other flowers around them. Just gonna kind of do a wander through, and there'll be some pictures and some more video. It's a Singapore band shell for the orchestra to come and play here on Sundays and different events, on holidays. We'll be playing for is the puppies. There's two big beautiful chows, and if she turns around, one beautiful husky in Singapore. So the botanical gardens have been wonderful. You'll be able to tell from all the photographs of the orchids and the video that was taken. There's still a lot more to see. I'm heading towards the north end of the park. There's a children's garden there. There's also an herbal remedy garden and an eternity garden. So those are three things left to see. I will probably come back to the park next week on Friday after class. I will come up around and get off at the top of the station, come down to the middle. That's where I will probably be buying souvenirs. I've seen some wonderful things here now, and highly appropriate and the right things for my family. Right there, I had to do it. It's a young Komodo dragon, be about 2 feet long, just crossed the path and went through under the fence, and I was absolutely shocked, and I didn't have my camera out. But it's a wild Komodo in the park. So yeah, just, you don't want to be bit by one of those. They're pretty nasty. But wow. So it's now 1 o'clock. I've been here for about 3 hours, and I've reached the top end of the Botanical Gardens. I love the gates here. So you can see them. If I can see that. Yeah, we got the gate. There it is. And it's been quite the experience. I'm going to come back up here to the shop later on during the week because they're open in the evenings. And tomorrow is going to be Sentosa Island. It's the next part of the experience, and I've had a really great time coming to the park. I'm glad that in talking with some of the people from work who said don't bother with it, and then talking to PC, thank you PC for telling me to ignore everyone else and to come up here. And I'm right outside the MRT station, so I'm going to head back to the hotel and probably grab a shower and then get something. Since it's 1 o'clock, I haven't had lunch. I'm going to maybe have an early lunch or an afternoon tea if I can find a place to do that. So there are formal teas since this was an English colony. Anyway, this has been the Royal Botanical Gardens. It's Saturday, 31st of January.